What is up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, coming back at you tonight to continue our lake breakdown of Lake Lanier. We're on the offshore stuff. We've had several different videos before this. If you've missed them, just go out and take a look at the lake breakdown playlist. We've got all the Lake Lanier breakdowns out there that we've done so far, plus all the other hundreds of lakes that we've broke down as well. So go check it out. It's just the lake breakdown playlist. You can find it on the Simplistic Fishing YouTube channel. So before we jump into this, just real quick, a friendly reminder, you can always get all the waypoints that we talk about when we're breaking down lakes. You can always get those for your fish finders by going out to simplisticfishing.com. If you go out there, you can either get the SD card that has the waypoints on there for you, or you can get the digital files, which basically means we'll send you a link to download the files and then you can copy them to your own SD card. And then last but not least, if you don't want to mess with your fish finders and you just want something like on a mobile device, we have the Simplistic Fishing app. You can go out, download it. It's on the Apple and Google Play stores. Anyways, just go out and download it. I think you guys will love it. It has all the waypoints that we have. It has GPS location services, so it shows you where you're at. It allows you to favorite waypoints. It allows you to filter waypoints. It also allows you to create new community waypoints. So all kinds of good stuff. Go check it out, Simplistic Fishing, on the App Store or Google Play. And don't forget, you got a 3-day free trial, so you can always go check it out for free. All right, we got all that business done. Let's go jump into this thing. So if you remember on the last video, we were down here, right? We weren't down here on the last video. That's where we started. But we started on the first video. We started at the dam and we worked our way all throughout this whole area, came around here and stopped right there. And then on the last video, we started there at that little shipwreck icon, and we worked our way all through all of these, down this corner, all the way up here. We covered all of this, and we ended right here where this one is. So tonight, that's what we're gonna do, is we're gonna start here, and we're gonna spend 30 minutes, basically, roughly 30 minutes, talking about what we found here and see how far we get. So I'm pretty sure this will not be our last offshore video for Lanier, but we definitely have a few more to go, but definitely gonna be a good one. So let's just start right here. I showed you guys where I was, right? I'm kind of mid-lake. I guess if you're looking for something that's close to me, it says Green Meadows here, Three Sisters Island. If you're going to Three Sisters Island, that'd probably be a good place to look. So you got the Three Sisters Island right here. I'm basically starting us just below here, so right here. So just below that island is where we're gonna start at. It gets a little bit hard to follow me, but again, if you got the Simplistic Fishing app, you'd be good to go. So you'd be able to follow me right along. Or if you, if you don't want to follow me along and want to get the card, you can do that too. So let's go ahead and get started. I just keep mumbling. All right, right out here, we got some rocks or something out here going off this hump. Obviously, that's a good area. You can see it right there. Also right here, notice how it has like a little flat top off the side of the island, and then you have the break. I mean, I'm not saying there's not going to be fish that are going to get up tight to the island. I'm sure there will be at certain times, but don't forget to look over here off the break of the island where that little break is. Also over here, you can see it, right? It comes out, makes a nice little point here, and then you've got this really good break, like fishing right around in there in that little area, or over here, maybe where it has this little point that comes out right here. So all kinds of good stuff. We've also got this down here. This just looks good. I have no idea what was going on, but you can tell it looks really juicy. You've got like 2 holes that are here, and then it's 17 foot right here, it's 10 foot right here. I don't know what is going on here, but there's something interesting going on right in that area, and the fact that it's right around that point just kind of caught my eye. So let's move back here and let's take a look at these couple more sections back in here. First off, I wanted you to take a look at this because it's kind of hidden back here. If you look over here and we're taking a look at this, there's a big flat that's right here. And I'm not sure what the depth of that flat is. The depth of the flat is 9 foot. And then it kind of goes over here at almost like an island. You got a little saddle here almost. And then it goes out here. And then when you get out here, you're at about 14 foot. So you still got a pretty good hump that's out there in the middle of this marina that's got some pretty good drops off the side of it. So maybe checking out the top of this hump, see if there's anything on it, or checking out maybe the sides. That could be nothing, but it's also something you might want to take a look at. And then while you're there, I didn't mark it, again, because I can't mark everything, but you may even want to come back in here and take a look at this. Whatever's going on back in here, there's some really tight contours. There's a little point that comes out here that drops off. I could see them getting around those ledges and stuff like that. Another good point right here. You can see just nice flat top, looks really good. And you got a couple good points that are back here too. Like I marked this one because just the way that the point's set up, but also just the contours. If you look at the contours, it comes in and gets pretty skinny up here. It's only about 10 foot and then it has a break. So that break is right around those docks. So that could bring those docks into play. This one's really one of the ones I don't talk about too much, but anytime you can find like these rounded points, this one's pretty rounded, but it's got a lot of depth to it, right? So if you want to come up and get a little bit closer to the point because you're going to be so deep, but they can tend to have fish on them occasionally for sure. Over here, it looks like my mark needs to come over just a little bit, but I'd say right in here or somewhere right in there where that break is for sure. And then let's go up here. We're going to zoom on up. And we're going to talk about, let's go out to the middle first before we go anywhere. We've got these bridges, right? I'll mark those for you guys. You'll see them out there, but those are way out there. But as far as this goes, this looks interesting too. You've got a nice big like ridge that comes out here. You can see it's at 15 foot, then it kind of goes to a saddle, then it comes back up, and then you've got these humps out here at 30 foot. But these two right here in the middle, they look like they're definitely going to be in play. They're 14 foot on top. I can't tell behind this little icon, 16 foot right there behind that icon. And then you can also see that little break. I'm zoomed in a little bit too much for you to be able to see it, but if I zoom it back, you'll really be able to see it. So I like this area right here, and I like this area right here as well. And even out here, I mean, I would scan this whole section and just see if you see anything relating to that stuff. All right, let's zoom back over here and stay on this side, since if I don't, I'll get lost. Let's just point out some of these couple points that are right here, point out a point. But right here, pretty good little point, right? You've got a nice little flat top here, so if you can't find anything out here, come over here and check this out. Same thing here, right? Those are good fall pattern type places. Same thing like over here. This big, long ridge that comes out, or point, whatever you want to call it. It just looks super juicy. Then we're going to come over here. I don't know why I have two here. One of them may be called a hard spot or something. I'm not sure. Let's see. Nope, it just says, oh, it is that. One of those is a hard spot, and one of those is the point. So my apologies for having both of them. I thought I got rid of all of those, but apparently I didn't. They're still showing up in there. So when you see two icons here on this breakdown, actually one of them is going to be a hard spot. It just won't show me the icon name unless I go over it. So you can see there where I marked this as offshore based on what I was seeing on the contours. And then this hard spot, we were actually able to see that on Google Earth and see the hard spots. And so that's why you're still seeing that hard spot marker there if I can get it to go over it. All right, so let's keep going. Back in here, a couple more good points. We got a good point here. This is another hard spot. Got another hard spot back in here as well, just with those points. This one's kind of deceiving. It's a hard spot, but you wouldn't even know it being there. So it's just something to take a look at. We've also got this one up here, nice little offshore spot. You can see it's got the nice flat top to it. And again, same situation here. We're looking at those hard spots again. My apologies, guys. I thought I got rid of that, but we're already 10 minutes into this video, so we're just going to keep rolling. So you can tell here, right, you see a couple different spots here. One of these is probably going to say hard spot, which it does, hard spot right there. Then we've got these offshore spots that I wanted you to check out right here. The reason for these we just talked about is we got that long extended point, right? Really long extended point, nice ridge. A lot of times you're going to want to look off the ends of them. And then you also want to come up in here when they get skinny and check out in these areas. So a couple different places, not necessarily on top. Yes, they're going to get on top. If they do, it's going to be tons of fun. It's those spooks up there and stuff like that, and have a grand old time. But if you can't find them on top, look over off the ledges. Don't be scared to get off the sides of them and see if they're chasing bait and things like that off the sides. All right, let's keep moving up here. I bet that one's probably a hard spot because I don't see any contours things there. We already talked about this out here, these offshore spots. Let's move up here. We got another hard spot that's right in here. Again, you wouldn't really know by the contours. You can kind of tell something's going on there, but nothing really jumping out at me there. All right, and then out here, this looks just juicy, all kinds of juicy. I love these long extended points that come out, especially when they have these nice flat tops, right? This just looks like it could have all kinds of heydays depending on the seasons, but this is probably going to be a pretty healthy point to be fishing, so you'll want to check that out. Also, if you look back here, this has got this little point that comes off a nice little flat, but it's really, really tight right there. Looking in those little areas where you have those breaks can be really good as well. That could be a hard spot or it could be offshore. I did mark it as offshore. Then over here, we got another hard spot right here and a good offshore spot right here, right? This point is perfect. If they come back in here and spawn or something, they're always going to come here first, stop here, then go back there, and then stop here before they come back out here. You've got a creek bed right there. You can see it swings along. So this is more your creek channel swings, probably more on this side. But that point could definitely come into play. And if it doesn't, definitely look over here because that creek bed's swinging somewhere in here. And I guarantee it's collecting fish somewhere in this area. All right, let's keep moving up. Another cool little area right in here is pretty deep, but 20 foot to 45 foot. Probably like a creek channel coming down and creating that or something. There's probably like a little hard spot there. You never know, just some things to take a look at. All right, we already looked at this one. And then we're gonna move up and we're gonna see what else we have. Now couldn't mark every single offshore spot on Lake Lanier, right? If I did, I'd have 1,000 different waypoints out here. So I tried to just mark the ones that really popped out to me. But as we're going through these videos, if I see some that really jump out at me that I didn't mark, that I feel like maybe I should have, I'm gonna go ahead and point those out to you while we go through that. So speaking of that, I'm gonna show you these two right here. So see this one right here, this looks pretty interesting. I was trying to look at my mouse on my iPad. I'm doing the iPad and the mouse at the same time, so got a little confused there. But right here, this little flat top right here, it's 13 foot, and it has a really nice break right here. Plus you have this nice big little bay flat area, right? Big flat back here, and then some pretty good breaks. So maybe looking right in here, or just, you know, just right in here off this little break right here. Same thing over here, you've got a little point over here as well, 16 foot, little flat top. That can be productive as well. I didn't mark that one. And you could kind of go down and do the same thing right here too, right? If those points were working, you could really start to pattern some stuff out here. All right, let's move on up, see what else we can find here. Here we've got these double marks. So I'm sure one of them is a hard spot, one of them is offshore. Yep, so there you go. The hard spot we could see when the water was down, like, you know, 10 to 12 foot, but you can tell that extends way far out into the water, about 19 foot. So you've got a lot of good stuff going on right in here. Really good hard area. Probably going to produce some pretty good fish at certain times of the year. We've also got a nice little point that's out here. That's probably another hard spot, which it is. And then here we've got offshore and hard spot, right? Because you've got the hard spot that's there, so you know that it's a hard spot based on Google Earth. But from offshore, if you're just looking at the contours, you can tell you got some goodness going on around this point. Then we're going to move out here. We're going to go out here by the hump. We're going to have some offshore hard spots, which again, on the next video, we'll clean that up. We won't show these hard spots. But you can see here, we've got a couple different offshore spots. So I put the offshore one right on top of the hump. And then the offshore ones, I kind of marked where these breaks are. So you can see out here to the edge of the island, you got some pretty good breaks. And right in here, kind of between these two humps, almost like a saddle. I don't know if it is or not, but it's maybe just a ridge right there. But definitely some really good breaks going on in there. Then as we move over here, we'll look at some more things over here. Another good offshore spot. Again, kind of leading back into here. Another thing you want to look at when you're back in here is this road bed right here in this flat. So they could collect here. If they were back here spawning and stuff, they could set out here and hang out. And that might be a good place to find. You can find debris and stuff around those road beds and things like that. You've also got the submerged bridge that's there as well that you could look at. Let's move this over. Let's see if kind of show you guys where I'm at. This is Old Federal Campground. It's where we're at now. Let's just talk about, we talked about submerged bridge and we talked about that island, but now here we've got this craziness going on here. I mean, almost goes all the way out into the water. I don't know if you call it a point or just high spots all over the place, but there's some really juicy looking stuff right here. I see a spot that I missed that looks really awesome. So we're going to mark that too, but let's talk about this. So right here, you got this point that comes out, I guess you could say. You've got these really good breaks that are down here. So this is something you want to look at down in here, right? Plus you've got these hard spots. So I'm just going to kind of scroll over. We got offshore, we got hard spots, we got another offshore hard spot there. We come up in here. This is where, you know, we're looking at those breaks. Out here, same type thing. Right in here in this saddle looks really awesome. And I'm sure some of these are going to tell us that it's rocky here too. So like here is a hard spot, whereas here is more, if it doesn't say hard spot on it, then it's marked offshore, and that's really because I'm looking at the contours. Then we're going to move on up here, same type thing. We're going to see some hard spots, I'm sure. There's a hard spot, and there's the offshore spot. And then you come over here, and there's probably another hard spot right in here. Hard spot. So I guess what we're trying to say right there is if you launched at that Old Federal Campground, and you launched right here, you've got a lot of good offshore stuff to look at. I mean, if we're just looking right in this area, we got all that stuff we just talked about out there. Plus you've got a submerged bridge right here and a submerged bridge right here. And let's move on over and keep talking about what else we've got. Another submerged bridge way out there. It's 100 foot of water, but a really good little island that's out here. A really good point that's right there. Look at the contours on that point. It's kind of junk right here, right? Not much going on here, but over here you've got some major breaks going on. There's a lot of depth right there on that bank line. Then out here, we got these flats. We got a nice little ridge coming out here, 2 good high spots, those humps. You could fish, again, off the breaks there or on top. On top would be preferred, but if they're not there, you got to go off the sides. And then out here too, you've got 2 of them. One of those is going to be a hard spot as well. Now, another area you might want to look at if you're fishing this spot is coming over here by these buoys, where these buoys are. I don't know if they'll allow you to fish right there, but if they will, that's a pretty good little point right there. Come out here, we've got some more hard spots that are out here out around this island. I'll try to click on this, you can see, so a hard spot there, and then I've got offshore here and offshore there as well. So looking pretty juicy there. And then you've got these humps that are out here too, right? You want to look at these humps. I've marked them all out here for you guys. They're out there, and you got a pretty good little point right there. You got a hard spot on that point, which makes it even better. Then we come down here. Love this point. This thing looks awesome. It looks like it comes out to like this looks like the mud creek. This is the creek bed that comes through here, and it comes right out to the front. So this little point right in here could be juicy, and this right here could be really juicy too. I've got the marker here, but you really want to, you could check here, but you really want to check more out here. All right, let's move back in here and let's see what else we can find back in this little corner. Hard spot, right, with a nice long extended point. Those are going to be good. We've got more hard spots in here, and I know they're hard spots because I would not mark something like that as offshore because I just don't see anything there visually from a contour perspective. But if I go up and I click on some of these, they're going to tell me that's a hard spot, and that would changes everything. Again, same thing like right here. These are hard spots. So these are where we can tell from Google Earth that there's rock underneath there. It's a very hard spot there. You can see all of these are showing hard spots, but this one is going to say offshore, and that's because of that nice little point that comes out there. Now let's keep going up here. We got another hard spot here, I'm sure. Yep, another hard spot, but a good break going on right in that area. Let's keep moving up and see what else we can find up in this area. So now we're up here by Sunrise Cove Marina. I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. Let's just talk about all these real quick. So we talked about this hump, right? Look at this. This looks really good too. This point has some major breaks coming right off the edge of that point. You've got a hard spot and another good point right here. It's got a nice flat top. That's where that hard stuff is. And then those breaks off the side. That just looks really good. Back in here, I'm not sure what this is. So let's click this and see. It is another hard spot. And then over here, we've got offshore, which we can tell there for sure, right? We got the flat top and the major breaks. Same thing right there. Then over here, you clearly got 2 icons there. One of them's going to be a hard spot. One of them's going to be an offshore spot. So here's your point. I guess I call it a point and an offshore, so I could probably get rid of one of those. My apologies for the duplicate waypoints here. I think when I switched devices over to this iPad, it kept the old ones in there, so now we're seeing multiple points here, but we'll be fine. We've got offshore here too. I talked to you guys about this. This is also a hard spot. That's what that other icon is. But look at how it comes up here and gets flat up on top and the breaks that it has all around it. Just looks really good. All right, let's go out here. Now we're out here more in the middle of the lake. When we get out here, we've got more humps, all right? So we just keep looking at all these humps. You can see I've kind of marked where the breaks are on the edges out of where they break, but these are all good spots to look if you're fishing offshore. Let's go up here to the side up here. Let's go in a little bit more. Here we've got another hard spot, but we also got a good little flat spot, right? So nice little offshore spot. That's almost like it's a higher percentage of an offshore spot because we verified there's a hard spot there too. So not only is it a point with some good contours, but it's got the hard spot. And so when you can start piling stuff together on these points, that's when you really know that you've probably found something pretty juicy. All right, so a couple more things. Another hard spot here. This is a pretty good little flat area you may want to take a look at back in here. And even getting out here off this ridge too, because they can set out on this before they come up here. So don't be scared to get out here and take a look at this. I don't know what this is right here. We can go look and see what that is. It says good beaches. So it's clearly a flat area, but I guess if there's a bunch of people there, it might not be that great. So we've got a hump there too. Lots of humps out here. I've marked all these for you guys. So all look awesome. Look at all the craziness going on in here. Again, we got another point that comes out here. That's a hard spot too. This one looks good. Look at the breaks coming off the side of that. Then we're going to move up here. This is Flat Creek Island. Let's just look at the contours first, and then the other ones are going to be hard spots. But right here is definitely a good offshore spot, right? You've actually got a nice little point that comes off the edge of that island. Down here, probably, it is offshore, so it's got, let's zoom in and see. It's got a nice little flat ridge that comes out here, and then it has a nice little break. If we come out here, we've got these little points. You can see right there, that's a hard spot right there. That's another hard spot. Hard spot, hard spot, hard spot. So you've got all these hard spots that are around this island. And again, if you're trying to figure out what in the world I'm talking about, just go out and look at the lake breakdown videos that we did on the Google Earth side, and it'll all start to kind of come together, and you'll see what we're talking about here. So let's keep going. We've also got another hump that's over here, some really good breaks. This really cool looking point that's got two different kind of flat tops on it. Those can always be good as well. And then we get out here, we're gonna go back to this creek. We're gonna come in here and take a look at this. Right, so we get out here, we got a nice point, right? We got humps that are hard spots too. So these are rocky, big rocky humps, which most of them are. But these could be really good spots to take a look at. And then look at this little point down here. It's got some really good contours going on. Just really like it. Down here as well. I mean, look at the break. It's so dark right there. That means there's such a steep drop right there off the edge of that. It's craziness. And the crazy thing is it's only like 8 foot on top or something like that. Let's click it. Yeah, 9 foot on top. And then if I click out here, I'm in 58 foot of water. So even right here, it says I'm 15 there, but that's not right. 27 foot right there. 8 to 9 foot right there. So there's something going on right in here for sure. Then let's move up. Of course, you see that little point right there. Let's look at this right here. See this blue line? This is a roadbed. So now you've got me where I'm saying, hey, there's a hump out here. And then you've got Navionics also saying, hey, there's a roadbed out here. So maybe scan over here closer to this roadbed and see if you can find anything out in here as well. I mean, they could still be out here for sure. But if there's debris and rock and junk like that for them to congregate around, they're always gonna go towards that kind of stuff. All right, let's move back here, see what else we've got. We've got some points. This is a nice little hard spot. That's probably a hard spot too, but let's just double check it. It is a hard spot. Got another hard spot back in there. One more back in there. And then this one, of course, I'm calling this one offshore, even if it says hard spot, because just the way it sets up, right? It's got that nice point there that comes out. Everything just looks really juicy. Good fishing for sure. All right, let's keep moving on. See what else we can find. We got about 4 or 5 minutes left, so we'll try to get through. Maybe we'll go through Monday's point, and then we'll finish out there. Let's take a look at some of these. Again, we got a hard spot that's out here, nice little point. Got a nice point here too with some really good breaks. And then all 3 of these are going to be hard spots. So there's rock around these points. The one that I like the most is probably going to be this one right here, just because it has the most breaks. But you can tell there's a creek bed that comes right through here. So it's going to bring some fish to this area. So I would definitely look at all of these and just see if you can find any fish around those 3 little points, because it is a really good area. It's kind of a pinch point in the lake compared to some of the other stuff. So might be a good little area to take a look at. We're going to move on up here and see what else we can find up here. We got some hard spots that are up here. You can see off these islands, there's some really good breaks off these islands. Look at this hump. This hump's got massive break going off the side of it. So really like that one. Got a couple more hard spots up there, a nice little point. This Moondy's point, if I'm saying that right, it might even be Monday's point, whatever it is. It's a good looking point. I really like it. Plus, you can't tell, but it's got 2 dots on there, which means it's a hard spot and it's a really good looking flat point to fish around. Then we're gonna move up here. We're gonna see the same types of things, right? Really good secondary point back here that's also a hard spot. You got a hard spot in here, back up in here. We've got lots of good stuff. I guess I skipped that one. You'll want to take a look at this one too. And then as we get up in here, you're going to see a lot of these double markers. This is a hard spot plus offshore because you've got the nice flat top that's coming off of here. Same thing right here. Same thing right here. And over here, you've got a nice good offshore spot just because you're looking at that little nice little rounded kind of point there, fairly shallow. And then it has pretty good breaks, but it also has that creek channel that's really close to it, right? This is the creek channel coming through here, and it probably swings up really close to that point, which brings that into play big time. And then also this point over here, just being close to that creek channel, would make me think about it from a content perspective, maybe not, but now that I know that's a hard spot, for sure, I'm gonna go check that out. And then this one over here as well. So let's go down. We already talked about these, I believe, but you got your hard spots there. Nice little points. We already talked about that one. We talked about all those. So let's end right here. We'll stop right out here on this one, on this little hard spot right here. We're going to change this to a shipwreck, or we'll call it rock maybe. We'll just call it rock so it stands out. And that will finish us up for today. So when we come back next time, we're going to start our way on this waypoint, and we're going to work our way down here and start working our way down the west side until we get back down to the dam and can finish up the southern section. And then we'll move on to more sections. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know if it's helpful. And also just let me know your thoughts on Simplistic Fishing. If you guys have tried it out, the app, all that good stuff, I would love to get your feedback. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Don't forget, go out, check out our website, simplisticfishing.com, and don't forget to download the app. Have a good one, guys.